Dude, I am so funny. I'm so confused. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to talk about children's services tonight. A lot. This has been like an aggravating, stressful, irritating night, right? So, children's services actually took me away when I was a child. Me, my brother, Michael, my brother Derek. They took us away because allegations were made about my stepfather that there was some truth to, but not. There was some truth to, but uh, moderation helps everyone feel safe to build a positive life chat experience for you and your viewers. Choose who can participate. Set delay between messages. Blah blah blah. Let me close that. Close. Okay. All right. So what was the experience like for me? I was in elementary school. I was living in the inner city, and my mother comes home and say, "Hey, children's services is going to take you away, so you gotta go to your grandparents." Now, I want you to understand that I'm mainly making this show. This is confusing because I'm kind of saying this wrong. I'm mainly making this for women, single women that are dealing with children's services by themselves and they have no one to stick up for them or stand up for them or help them, right? That's why I'm mainly making it. So I'm trying to teach you how to do things, the correct way of doing things, and how to deal with children's services, right? So you know what? I apologize. I'm not going to talk about my childhood and stuff. I will say this: I dealt with children's services as a kid. I was took from my mom for allegations that were not complete. The allegations had to do with my stepfather. They was true, but they was not true. Okay, that meaning there was some truth to it, but it wasn't as serious as it was portrayed, and it was kind of exaggerated, right? But I was tortured because of it by children's services. But I can't get into it all right at this moment. So children's services. I'm gonna focus on the part with the women first. So women, if you have children that are in children's services, and let's say that a family member doesn't have them, and you're going to visits, you need to bring in a notebook. You need to write the time that you showed up to the visit, the time that you left the visit, the name of whoever sat in during the visit. You also need to be recording these visits because they will lie on you. They will say you did stuff you did not do. They will say you said stuff that you did not say, right? So my thing is, if they're there to record you and they're there to take notes on you, you need to be taking notes on them and you need to be recording them. On addition to that, if your child comes to a visit and they tell you that someone's being mean to them, someone is abusing them, beating them, hurting them, whatever, being mean, they're scared, whatever. I've got experience dealing with them. So what you do is you do not let the case manager know. Them are the last people you want to tell, right? You immediately call the fucking police, okay? Excuse my grammar. You immediately call the fucking police, all right? You call the police, and then after you call the police, what you do is you tell the police what is going on, what your child told you, okay? Now, before the police get there, because listen, once the police get there, the case manager is not going to let you take no pictures of your child, right? So I'll give you a hypothetical situation. There may have been a situation where, maybe I had hypothetically had a child or someone I knew had a child and they seen a handprint on their 9-month-old baby, right? And they're like, what the, like, you know what I mean? What is going on? Like, so take a picture of it, right? And then what you do next is you call the police. They come. Don't even tell them you called the police. Just tell the police, hey, this is where I'm at. There's child abuse. I'm at this address. Come immediately. Send an officer. Officer comes out, takes a police report. Make sure you take pictures of your child before you let the case manager know, because they will try to stop it. Because even if they have foster parents that are abusive, they don't want to do shit about it. They don't want to do nothing about it, okay? And then they just transfer them to a different county or whatever, okay? So you make a police report, you take the pictures, right? You go downtown, you try to speak to a detective or whatever about child abuse. There's detectives downtown. I'll give you an example. Let's say hypothetically you had a picture of a 9-month-old with a handprint on him from foster parents, right? You would think a detective would do something about that, right? I'm going to tell you something. What happens if there's a detective and the detective's like, well, kids need to be disciplined? Why would a 9-month-old baby need discipline? Are you retarded? Listen, my videos are going to be uncut. Listen, I didn't grow up like you white people that live in, the nice suburbs and all this. I'm going to just talk plainly how I feel in my heart, right? Sometimes I cuss. Sometimes I say things, whatever, right? The detective told me that you need to discipline children. This was a 9-month-old baby. I recorded him. I don't know where the recording is now. It's probably in SoundCloud. I'm sure it could be got. If you could just hear what he said, you would be petrified of dealing with the system. And because if that's how the detective felt, right? So the next thing you do is you tell the case manager. After the police, you do the police report and you take the pictures yourself and you show the blah, blah, blah. Then you tell the case manager what's going on. Then you show her the pictures. Then you show her, hey, look at this, blah, blah, blah. Then you speak to her supervisor. And then you find out who the supervisor is. Then you find out who's funding it and how this, because sometimes social services, they operate in a way that's like, they can't be sued type, they can't be sued because they work under like a nonprofit type thing. They do something basically where they can't be held accountable, basically, right? I mean, that's how I feel about them. When I was a child, I didn't like him. The guy that they sent to me as a child, I ended up running into him later in life when I was a teenager. Long story. I'm not going to get into it right now. I will say this. And I'm not blaming this guy because I don't know the truth. But I will say that there was someone that worked at Children's Services, and my brother went and stayed a night. It was very weird. He stayed a night at this guy that worked for Children's Services house. This guy is very high up. He's got a lot of money. He's a millionaire. My brother was not right when he came back. I don't know what happened to him. He said something one time. He went to a hospital and was screaming hysterical. So that's my experience with my brother dealing with Children's Services. And taking account my brother was in a group home. I also dealt with being in a group home too, right? I can tell you about that experience being white and dealing with nothing but blacks back then, what it was like. And black people were very racist. So the only way you gathered respect in the group home was by fighting back. The only thing that was that's the only thing that was respected, right? They didn't respect nothing else. But again, women, if you have a child that you think you're worried about your child, this is what you do. This is what I would do. If I had a child come to me and say, hey, hypothetically, they're in foster care. And let's say hypothetically, they tell your child says, look, I don't like it there. I'm scared of being there. I don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. And they're showing you that maybe they got a mark on them and they're like, man, this is happening all the time. This is happening all the time. Like, this isn't like they did something wrong. They were disciplined. This is something different. I'll give you a hypothetical. Maybe you have a white child and a black couple adopts them and then says, hey, I'm going to treat you how your people treated us, which hypothetically, let's say that they're Irish and like they don't even know nothing about Irish culture or history. But let's just say that. Let's say that a black family adopts a white child or white children and then tells them, I'm going to treat you how your ancestors treated me and blah, 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 right? And let's say they were really being mean and mistreating those children and abusing those children, right? This is what you do. You find out. First, you call and make a police report. You take pictures, talk to the police. You try to get the foster parents' information. That way, you can go downtown and press charges on them. And then, after you try to press charges down with the prosecutor, you got to find out what county they're in, because typically Children's Services will outsource your children to different counties. So let's say you live in whatever county, they might send them to a whole nother county. So then you got to find out what county they're in, right? Who the prosecutor is, right? And then you got to make a police report wherever it happened at. So let's say it happened in whatever county you go, because you got to go by where it was reported at, right? So where you first saw it at. So if you're at a visit, then you would report it with that county, whatever county it was, and then you speak to the prosecutor. You go downtown and try to file charges, right? And then if you're still worried and your child is that, then what you do is, what I would recommend doing is let's say they live wherever, whatever their address is, right? Let's say it's 3333 Home Road, right? Hypothetically. Well, you go somewhere that's close to where that residence is. Like, you do not go to the residence. You do not go to people's houses, and you do not step on their property. Okay. You do not do that. That is against the law. You are not allowed to stop on private property. Do not do that. That you will go to jail. Jail. Some of this is for entertainment purposes as well, right? You'll go to jail, right? You got no fucking rights in this country, right? So since your children are telling you that there's allegations of them being abused, you go to like a gas station, somewhere where there's fucking cameras so no one can lie on you and make up false shit, right? I'd also recommend going live and fucking recording it on your Facebook or wherever. That way no prosecutor can make up no lies on you. The courts cannot make up no lies on you. There's nothing but what the fucking truth is, right? Well, you go to the gas station, you call the police, whatever fucking county the children are in, and you say, hey, I want a wellness check done, okay? I know you're lazy. I know you don't want to do no fucking work, okay? And let's say hypothetically I went to a gas station. I called the police and say, hey, I want to do a wellness check on this address. Can you send the police out to check on the kids? I believe blah, 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 right? That's what you do. It's called a wellness check, right? So there's different checks police do. They do checks for elderly. They do checks for like hypothetically, maybe if you, like I said, if your children hypothetically are in foster care and you believe they're being abused, they do wellness checks for that. They do checks for people that are suicide. They do, if you believe someone is suicidal, you call, say, hey, please, will you please go do a wellness check on such and such. They do checks for elderly. If the elderly felt, they do a lot of different type of things. You just got to find out what they do, right? It also gives them probable cause, put that out there. All right. So hypothetically, I went to the gas station. Hypothetically, I may have went to a gas station, whatever. I called the police. I said, hey, I don't bullshit around. I'm never going to ever do anything to put myself in a position. So, I'm never going to do nothing that's wrong or against the law. I'm not going to jail, prison. I'm not doing it. So what I'd recommend is going somewhere where there's cameras, live streaming yourself at the same time. You got to cover your ass so much, like it's ridiculous, but do every possible thing so you do everything legitly and correctly, right? So you're in that county, you call the police, you're at the gas station on the camera. Hey, officer, I need an officer out here to do a wellness check. Sometimes, depending on the situation, you can follow the officers, maybe down the street a little bit, whatever, you're down the block or somewhere close. or the police will meet up with you somewhere. The police will go do the wellness check without you. You do not go to the wellness check typically, unless it depends on the situation. Excuse me. And like if it was a family member that you believe whatever's having issues, you might go. If it's not, and depend like a situation like foster care, you would sit at the gas station and wait. The police officers would go out there, or you would be somewhere close. You say, "Hey, I want you." Again, I'm not a lawyer. I can't. But it's just I don't know, man. So hypothetically, I may have did a wellness check before because I know how that works, and they didn't like it, right? They basically tried to provoke me into a confrontation and beat my ass. Basically, I mean, I didn't fall for it. I mean, I'm not going for it. Because a lot of time your kids are those the best police to deal with are always city police, like the city. If you're dealing with sheriffs, they'll beat the fuck out of you. They might kill you. They think they're God. If you're dealing with state highway patrol, they think they're God. Only city police, because city police have a lot more scrutiny on them, a lot more eyeballs on them. So they're always going to act different, more professional, body cams and all that. You go to the fucking sheriffs, a lot of times those small towns, they don't got body cams. They will beat the fuck out of you, okay? They will beat the living fuck out of you and not care less and press charges on you. And yeah, most definitely they will. Yeah. So single moms, I'm sorry. Listen, if you inbox me, any single mom that's having fucking trouble, I will talk to you. I was in children's services as a kid. I've dealt with them. Like I said, you go to a visit, you bring a notebook, you write down everything. What time you got there, what time you left, how your child looked, was they fed, was they clothed. Ask them, are they ask your child, are they feeding you where they're at? How are they treating you? How are they disciplining you? What school do you go to? Try to find out what school they go to. You need to know that information. You also want rights to the like you want to know the report cards and stuff. My mind's dripping. I got ADHD. I'm thinking about 3 things at once. I need to make another video. But moms, if any mom ever needs help or advice on children's services, you can inbox me. I most likely will give you my phone number and personally talk to you. I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry for any single mother, especially black women, because it looked like that. Like I've seen instances, it looks like they just treat black single mothers like dirt on the ground. I'm just gonna keep it real on that one because I've seen a couple incidences that I'm thinking like, yeah, I wish I was her man because I would have been speaking up for her. Like they're not, yeah, or even her kid's dad, whatever. Kid's dad, man, doesn't matter. And to the men out there, if you got women, children, mothers that are going through that, you better be supportive. You need to be helping them. I'm going to get off here now in this stream. Ladies, have a nice night. And I'm sorry that, from the center of my heart, I'm sorry that you are going through this. I know it's a struggle, but keep fighting for your kids. Like I said, call the police, do those wellness checks, follow those police reports. Write everything down, record everything, record the visit. They lie on visits, okay? They make shit up. They do that. They'll make something completely different than what happened, right? It's like, and there's nothing you can do about it because listen, the way people perceive people is the way they perceive them. It doesn't matter, right? So everyone have a nice night. I'm going to end the video and God bless. And stream will stop me. You will no longer be live.